Hello everyone. Now today's topic is civil engineering material. The material is steel. So first of all, what is steel? It is a very useful engineering material. Steel is an alloy of iron and carbon. It contains 0.25 to 1.5% of carbon. Steel form an intermediate stage between cast iron and wrought iron. Right? Steel are essential alloy of irons and carbon, but they always contain other elements either as impurities at alloying elements. Steel is a man-made metal containing 95% of more or 95% or more iron and 1 to 2% of carbon. Now, in this small amount of magnesium is added, around 1.6%, nickel to improve a certain properties. Carbon improve strength, hardness, but reduce ductility and toughness. Low carbon steel are not used as a structural material. Allowing the nickel, the tensile strength can be increased while retaining the desired ductility. Steel has a higher tensile and compression strength and also stand wear and tear much better. Now, the next is type of steel. There are mainly three types of steel. First is low carbon steel. It is also called mild steel. Second is medium carbon steel. Third is high carbon steel. And the fourth is cast iron steel. In this again classification is alloy steel. The alloy steel is classified by two category. One is stainless steel and the second is high speed steel. But in our syllabus, there are three types of steel. First is low, second is medium, and third is high carbon steel. Now we can start about first is low carbon steel. So what is low carbon steel? Low carbon steel, it is also known as a mild steel, contains 0.05% to 0.30% carbon, right? Low carbon means the carbon content is low, right? The carbon content is 0.05 to 0.32%. Normally the carbon content is 0.25, the range is 0.25 to 1.5%, but in the low carbon steel the range is 0.05 to 0.32%, right? Low carbon steel is a tough, ductile, easily jointed and welded material, poor resistance to corrosion, often used in a general purpose material like the nails, screws, car bodies. In this, the low carbon steel is used. Structural steel used in the construction industries. Now, the properties of low carbon steel. The first property is it is a ductile and malleable. It is corrode quickly. It can be permanently magnetized. It is tough and more elastic than cast iron and wrought iron and withstand shock and impact well. It is equally strong in tension, compression, and shear. The specific gravity is 7.8. It is not affected by saline water. The temperature melting point is about 1400 degrees Celsius. It is more elastic material. The modulus of elasticity is 2.1 into 10 raised to 5 Newton per mm square. It is equally strong in tensile and compression, right? The next is medium carbon steel. The medium carbon steel, it contains 0.35% to 0.5% of carbon. Here again the range of steel is range sorry steel contain or steel contain 0.25 to 1.5% of carbon, but in medium carbon steel the steel contain 0.35% to 0.5% carbon, more strength and hardness but less ductile and malleable structure than low carbon steel. Rail and garden tools, which is which is made by medium carbon steel, right? Now the properties of medium carbon steel is welding is difficult, more elastic in comparison to mild steel, more tougher in comparison to mild steel, withstand shock and vibrations, permanently magnetized, stronger in compression than in tension. Compressive strength is 80 to 120 kilonewton per meter square, right? And sorry. Now, the last is high carbon steel. It is also known as a tool steel. It contains 0.55% to 1.5% carbon, very hard but offer higher strength, less ductile and less malleable. Hand tool, it is used for making a hand tool like chisels, low beds, punches, right? Here the example is given for high carbon steel. The properties of high carbon steel is its structure is granular, it is more tough and elastic than mild steel, it is easier to harder and than to weld, it is more difficult to forge and than to weld, it can be permanently magnetized. Comparatively, it is stronger in compression than in tension or in shear. It withstands vibration and shock better. It rusts easily. It has a granule structure, and the strength, that is the melting point, is about 1300 degrees Celsius. Then compressive strength is 1400 to 2000 Newton per mm square, and the tensile strength is 800 to 1100 Newton per mm square. Right? Now, the uses of steel. Steel is present in many different areas. The use is in a car is made of 65% of steel, recyclable and recycled steel, engine parts, body, doors, and etc. Electrical appliances like a washing machine, 57% of steel is used, cooker, 80% of steel, the steel is recyclable, right? Fridge, in the fridge, 51% of steel is used. Food packaging, cans and beverages can mainly, the steel is recyclable and recycled. Building product, 70% of all building products made of steel, concrete, metallic frames and etc. are recycled. As a reinforcement of concrete, it is used in steel pipes, tank, then corrugated sheet, structural material like truss, beam, sanitary and sewer fittings, right? So we basically identify the name of steel and use. So first name of steel is low carbon steel. The low carbon steel is used in motor body, sheet metal, in plate, thin plate, right? Medium carbon steel is used in boiler plates, structure steel, rail, tires, right? And the high carbon steel is used in stamping, dies, drills, then stonemasons tools, woodworking tools, chisel, saws, hammer, right, and etc. Now the next material is mortar, right? So first of all, what is mortar? So mortar is a material, one type of material used in a masonry construction to fill the gap between the bricks and blocks used in the construction. Mortar bind bricks and blocks together to give a strength and stability to wall. Here, here one figure is given. So from the figure we can see that this is a block or brick, block or brick. Here the second layer of block and brick. So mortar is a, this is called a mortar, right? It is a material, one type of binding material. It is used for the binding brick and block together to give us strength and stability, right? Now, the definition of mortar is a mixture of sand, a binder such as a cement or lime, and water is applied as a paste which then set hard. Mortar is a workable or mortar is a workable paste which is prepared by adding a required amount of water to a mixture of binding material, a fine aggregate. This plastic paste is useful to hold a building material such as a stone or brick together. Next is composition of mortar. The composition of mortar, it is a mixture of sand, cement or lime and water. Here, then here the mixture is Here the mixture is given 3 parts of sand, 1 parts of cement and 3/4 part of water, and then prepare a paste. This paste is called a mortar. Now types of mortar. There are various types of mortar. So we can start with the first type of mortar, या फिर classification of mortar. So first is cement mortar. So what is cement mortar? In this type of mortar, the cement is used as a binding material, right? Cement is used as a binding material and sand is used as a fine aggregate. The proportion of cement and sand is decided based on the specific durability and working condition. Cement mortar will give a high strength and resistivity against water. The proportion of cement to sand may vary from 1 in 2 to 1 in 6. The ratio is given for the cement and sand. 1 part of cement and 2 parts of sand to 1 part of cement to 1 part of 6 part of sand. Right? In recent year, most of the quality construction work has been done only with the cement mortar. The next is lime mortar. In case of lime mortar, lime is used as a building material. There are two types of lime, mainly fat lime and hydraulic lime is used in the lime mortar. Lime mortar consists of lime and sand or surki, right? Fat lime in a lime mortar require 2 to 3 times of sand and it is used for a dry work, right? And hydraulic lime and sand in 1 to 2 ratio will give a good result in damp condition and also suitable for waterlogged area. The lime mortar has a high plasticity so it can be placed easily. Mort Setting of fat lime in a mortar require loss of moisture as an essential condition. It is not suitable for construction in damp and moist condition. But mortar made from hydraulic lime are quick suitable for use even in a damp situation. The next is gypsum mortar. Gypsum mortar consists of plaster and soft sand as a binding material and fine aggregate. In this mortar, gypsum cement are the binding material that are rarely used in a tough construction. In the Egyptian ancient structure called pyramids, gypsum mortar is used. Gypsum mortar will have a low durability in damp condition. They find applications. They find application is a plaster, right, covering coat. Surkhi mortar. Surkhi mortar, in this type of mortar, it is prepared by using a fully surkhi instead of sand or by replacing a half of sand in case of a fat lime of mortar. Is finely powder burnt clay which is free from any admixtures, impurities. It will give a more strength than a sand and cheaply available in the market. Surkhi mortar consists of lime, surkhi and water. Surkhi is used as a adultant or fine aggregate. Sometimes half amount of sand and half amount of surki is also added. The function of mortar, it provide a binding force or cohesion between the structural elements. It act as a medium for distributing the force throughout the structural uniformly. Additional strength and resistance against rain penetration and other such weathering agencies in stone or brick masonry. It fill up empty joints. A thin liquid mortar used for such purpose is termed as a grout. It does pointing or plastering to the structure. The qualities of wood mortar. So which are the qualities, sorry, what are the qualities? It should be durable and strong itself on drying and hardening at the same time. It should not react in any way with the construction unit. It should set and harden quickly. Construction could be done with this speed. It should not develop any crack or on drying, and should be able to maintain their appearance for quite a long period. It should be capable of developing the design stress. It should be economical to make without compromising on any of the quantities. The third material is timber. So timber timber is the oldest material used by the man. Parts of tree were the first to be used by man for shelter even before they enter the age of civilization. Timber is one of the oldest material of construction, one of the important construction material used as a structural elements in a building widely for the doors, windows, partition, and find large use through secondary wood product like plywood, particle boards and laminated boards, etc. Wood, which is useful for engineering and other structural purpose, is called timber. Mostly used timber, plywood, post in framework in RCC, RBC, etc. Both hard as well as soft wood is in use. Timber is used in a building material process. A number of valuable properties such as low heat conductivity. Timber has been used in variety of ways in a building construction like bridge construction, internal, in many other engineering activities. It has been extensively used in a beam, column and plates in construction in a variety of situations such as a foundation, floor, stairs and roofing. Even at a present, timber compare well with many other artificially made construction materials such as concrete and steel in many engineering properties. The definition of timber denotes woods, one type of wood which is suitable for building or carpentry and for various engineering and other purpose. Now the definition of wood, organic matter obtained from trees is called wood. Classification of trees. So there are trees are classified by two category. First is exogenous and second is endogenous trees. Then exogenous trees are again classified by two category. One is conifers and second is deciduous. So first of all, we can start with the endogenous trees. So what is endogenous trees? The trees which grow inward in longitudinal fibrous mass are called endogenous trees, and exogenous trees, the trees which grow in outward across a horizontal section of stem, are called exogenous trees. These trees are only fit for engineering construction. Exogenous trees are again subdivided in two categories. One is conifers. Conifers, they give a softwood, they have a pointed leaves. Example of conifers is deodar, pine, cheer, kal, etc. Right? The exogenous trees, the exogenous trees, they grow outward, but they increase in a bulk by growing outward, and consecutive ring are formed in horizontal section of such a trees, and the endogenous trees which grow endwards by depositing each free layer internally instead of the exterior. The vertical growth of endogenous trees is generally in the form of link attached end to end with a knot in between a two link. Such trees show very little branches. Right here, the examples of conifers are given. A conifers is a type of exogenous trees. Exogenous exogenous trees, here the examples are given: balsam fir, red pine, Douglas fir, Scotch pine, white pine, Fraser fir. This is an example of exogenous trees, right? Which grow outward. they increase in a bulk density, right? And the deciduous or broadleaf trees, these have a hardwood, these have a broadleaf. The example is teak, sal, sesame. Here, the one figure is given. This is a broadleaf. Sorry, 1 minute. Here, the this is a trees, and this is a evergreen trees, right? This is a conifers. This is an example of conifers given, right? Here, the deciduous example: red oak, amp, honesty locust, red maple, crimson king, beech, white beech, black locust, right? Now the next is structure of trees. From the visibility aspect, the structure of trees can be divided into two categories. First is macrostructure and second is microstructure. So what is macrostructure? In our syllabus, only macrostructure are given. Microstructure is not given. The structure of wood visible to the naked eye or at a small magnification is called a macrostructure. The following figure shows the macrostructure of exogenous trees, right? Here, the various components are given: the cutter bark, heartwood, pith, inner bark, cambium layer, then sapwood. The structure of a exogenous trees. So first we can start with the pith, heartwood, sapwood, cambium layer, inner bark, outer bark, and medullary rays. So in this figure, the all components are given. So we can start with the first component, pith. Pith is the innermost center portion. Just a minute. Pith is in pith. Pith is a centermost portion. It is a center portion. It is called pith. The center portion of the tree having a dark brown color. The pith or medulla is seen only in old and immature trees, right? The second is heartwood. Heartwood is an inner annual ring surrounding the pith constitute the heartwood. Yeah, this layer is called a heartwood. The inner ring is called heartwood, right? Around the pith, there is a layer of darker color wood, which is dense and has a compact structure. This is dark color wood. It is called hardwood. The next is sapwood. It is a raw wood layer over the hardwood. Where hardwood is over, the next layer is sapwood. The color is change, right? It is a yellowish in color and can be easily decayed. The next is cambium layer. Cambia layer is a thin layer of wood between the sapwood and the inner bark. It is a thin layer of wood between the sapwood and the inner bark. This is a sapwood. This is a sapwood. Sorry. This is a sapwood, and this is inner bark. So it is called here. It is called a cambium layer, right? The cambium layer is nothing but a thickened layer of sap, right? And the next is medullary rays. The thin radial fiber extending from the pith to the cadmium is known as a medullary fibers. The next is bark. It is outermost. It is the outermost portion. It is called a bark. Outermost portion of the branches is outermost zone and marks make the skin of the trees. There are two type of bark. First is inner bark and second is inner bark and outer bark. This is outer bark and this called is inner bark. The in pith innermost central portion, it's called pith. Heartwood, inner annual ring surrounding the pith, which is dark in color. Sapwood, the cutter annual ring between the heartwood and cambium layer, it is known as a sapwood, which is yellow in color. Cambium layer, the layer of sap between sapwood and inner bark, is known as a cambium layer. Inner bark, the inner skin or layer covering the cambium layer is known as inner bark, and outer skin or cover of the trees is known as an outer bark. Medullary rays, the thin radial fiber extending from the pith to cambium layer, are known as a medullary rays. The uses of timber, it is used for the construction purpose, including building construction, house posts, beam, rafter, bridge, pile, poles, etc. It is also used for the furniture and cabinet making, used for the doors, windows, formwork, scaffolding. It is used for the heavy packing cases such as machinery and similar stone. It is used for manufacturing agricultural implements and tool handle. It is used for manufacturing vannies, plywoods, boards, right? And the next one is qualities. Qualities of good timber is the quality, which is qualities for a good timber. The first is, it is it is a shining appearance. It should have a dark brown color, uniform color, free from hardwood. Timber should be free from all defects, should be durable. It should be straight, close fibers. It should be strong for working as a structural member. It good timber should be tough, reasonably heavy in weight, which is the quality of the timber, right? So thank you for the watching.